All right, y'all. Here we go, man. Another episode of Comedians Chopping It Up. Jay Bliss, man. I'm joined by two comedians. I got a third one on the way. The guys I got on screen, I've been trying to get all three of these guys on the screen for the longest time. But y'all schedules, y'all hit me up with more excuses. No, I'm just playing. I got my man Mike Mello, man. I know Mike for I don't know how long, but Mike, your reputation preceded you. Everybody kept talking about you gotta get to know Mike Mello. I was like, man, who the heck is Mike Mello? It was Mello Mike, and then it was Mike Mello. So I was like, I don't know who this dude is, but I eventually saw you in Good Nights. I was coming up doing the North Carolina's Funniest competitions, and you were hosting. And when I tell you this dude controlled the room unbelievably, I was a fan immediately. So good to have you here. Anybody that's joining in is watching the broadcast and you were at my last Jay Bliss and Friends, you remember Mike. So Mike was there, the guy that went on right before Rodney Perry, and everybody kept saying, "Who's the skinny dude though?" That's what everybody kept asking, like.
I gained 3 pounds since then, so they can't say no more.
Right. And then also on the screen, I got my man Aaron Weber, man, out of Tennessee. And Aaron, I met in Charlotte the first time at the Charlotte Comedy Festival. And we had to do this godforsaken show, which had about 4 people in the audience. And everybody was dedicated on doing their time. Like we were so depressed with the audience turnout. We were like, yeah, we're going to kill this. Like we were basically.
Yeah, we're all going to run the light and make it a 3-hour show. We were in a janitor's closet inside of a theater complex doing a show for each other.
Right. It felt like an open mic, but it was supposed to be like a legit show. And exactly. And then I think I remember the bit you did, and then I met you again when we were in Alabama at the Stardome, and we were working together. And I said, "Man, your name sounds familiar." And you got on stage and you stole your jokes, and you did that bit that you do with the voice, and I was like, "Oh, I met that dude in Charlotte at that bit." Yeah, so
yeah, that's a tough one to forget for sure.
Right, exactly. It's weird that we meet each other on the road and things like that, but then a lot of times you might say you know somebody, but you really don't know them until you hear a joke and you go, "Oh yeah, I do remember that dude." So that's like,
I think I looked a lot differently the first time you met me too. I had long hair, no beard.
Right.
Still trying to figure out my identity. And then I grew out a beard and cut my hair. So it was just total opposite. Still gained a lot of weight between then and those 2 times too.
Well, the crazy thing is that's 2 things that comedians usually try to do. Number one, we try to find our voice. We have to do that. Then it's find your look. So it's like, both of those things work at the same time. I mean, some people feel comfortable on stage with a suit on. Some people feel comfortable on the stage with t-shirt and jeans. Some people got to have Jordans on. Like, it just depends on who they are and what they do. A flannel shirt, which I call the comedians. The comedians.
I like a flannel quick.
They got to sell like Cabela's. I be like, every comedian I know is gonna be up in there in the flannel shirt. So that's pretty much what it is. So I know we talked a little bit offline, guys, but how you guys feeling about not being able to hit the stage as much as possible? Do you feel out of rhythm? Do you feel like you can go back in and kill it, or do you feel like it's going to take you a time frame to get back into it? And if so, how long?
Well, I got to do some sets during all this. I did a few weekends at clubs, and I was real worried about getting back into it.
Right.
Because, it's something you do. I've been doing almost every night for 5 years, and then all of a sudden I didn't do it for months. And so I was worried about just getting back into the groove of it. It didn't take as long as I thought it would. And I actually felt good about it. I was telling my jokes differently and kind of, working current events into the jokes. It felt good. So I think if you're a comic and you're worried about just being, it really is like riding a bike. Like, you'll hop back into it pretty quickly.
Yeah. It's just, I feel like, I agree with what your statement is. I just felt like my mind wasn't into it. Like, I wasn't in a calming space. So even though the jokes were coming out, I wasn't interested. Like I wasn't like I wasn't into it like, oh man, I'm gonna kill him with this, or I'm really want to see where this joke can go or how I can be more creative with it the next time I do it. I was looking at the clock. Like I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Like,
you know
I gotta get up.
I know, like let me do a minimum amount of time on stage, you know.
Yeah, I worry about it. I haven't been back up yet, but I worry about fumbling. But also, it'll take me back to when I first started, that nervousness, which I miss. You know, that like, ooh, I can't wait. But also, I think being in it so long, I think I'll get back into it. But I think it'll be frustrating at first, you know, just to find that rhythm again.
Right.
But you know, I usually keep it monotone and slow anyway, so I don't think it'll be hard for me to get back in. I think my comfort level will be what I'm worried about.
I think
just being back in those dimensions.
Yeah, I think what most people don't realize is the rhythm that we get into being on stage. Like, say for instance, if you had gigs that were set up for 6 straight weeks, right? By the time you get to that 6th gig, like you're a beast at that moment. Like it's like anything you do at that moment is going to destroy. You might be on the road, you might be working as a feature, and then you might be working with a headliner that hadn't worked in 3 weeks. And then the headliner's like, good Lord, man, you killing it out there. And you're like, nah, I'm just in a rhythm. Like you've been shooting threes all week. You know what I mean? You've been shooting threes for 4 straight weeks. You got on stage, every joke is going to destroy. You know, even your crowd work at that moment will be because you're just in a rhythm. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you get off stage and you get a heckler. You've been off stage for 3 months. You get a heckler. You might not know what to do.
Yeah. Snap. The straight snap. Like, who you talking to?
I'll beat your ass when I see.
I know, right?
Yeah, it can mess everything up.
Well, I'll say that the crowd is out of their rhythm too, because these people haven't been outside of their house. You know,
right? Yeah.
In my experience, those few weekends that I did, it's the crowd. They understood what was going on. They were like, "Oh, it's their first time back on stage." Like, and I felt that they were very understanding of like the situation.
Right. Now you were I heard a story though. So you were in Greensboro, right? Because you was there with Bert.
Yeah, that's right.
And was the people that was in the bathroom getting it on?
Oh yeah,
in the bathroom. So yeah, some people were just happy to get out the house, right?
Yeah,
so they were happy to get out the house. They wanted to have sex in the bathroom.
They were sitting right in that front table, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, very drunk. They got up and they were caught by Chico Bean in the bathroom.
Right.
And Chico Bean comes on stage during Burpee's sets and calls them out.
Right.
In front of the whole crowd. It was hilarious. That was a first for me.
And then they kindly removed themselves from the room. I understood.
I don't know how kindly it was, but yeah, they were gone.
They got up out of there. That's funny, man. Like that's, it's funny because some comedians wouldn't have did it, but I like the fact that Chico was like, "Yeah, we're gonna talk about that." Like that's obvious. Like I got to bring that up. So
for sure.
Yeah. So I know we spend a lot of time at home, so we're like looking at Netflix and Hulu and everything else. Has there been any comedy specials that you guys have seen that impressed you over the last 3 months, or have you stayed away from watching comedy?
Purposely, I watch bad comedy on purpose. I ain't lying. I am not gonna lie, man. This last month, I was like, man, let me see this. If it's good, I won't watch it. If it's bad, I'll watch it.
All the way through? I
don't know why. No,
Okay.
Not all the way through. But I'll do like a little bit of this one, a little bit of that one, and a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And just be like, man, whoo, all right. That gets me hyped to be like, whoo, all right, some people need funniness. But I have to say, I watched Bill Burr's last special for the first time. Right. And I love that dude. I mean, he's great. Like, once you see that, you're like, all right, I'm throwing everything I got away and starting over.
Right.
But no, I have to say Bill Burr's last special, man. It was like I finally took time to sit there and watch it and break it down. And it was, dude, he's just amazing.
Right.
It got me jonesing again. Like
creative juices.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you watching the bad comics is your need to see new comics try out material and bomb. Like that's like.
I think what it is I miss hanging out with the fellas in the back talking shit about the shitty comics.
Right.
I mean, not in a bad way, but just being like, man, this is like my favorite is being on stage and hearing my one friend laugh. I know I'm eating it. Because you know that one dude, you hear that laugh, you're like, God, I'm dying up here. But even that's fun.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even that's like,
now comedians we are the worst friends to have. We the worst friends to have, especially performing, because you know we have the obnoxious laugh in the back when a joke doesn't go well to get like right. So it's almost us telling you, yo, you bombing back here, like you. But it's like you know you're gonna get it when you come off stage. You know what I mean? So
and that's all right. I'd rather have that than someone lie to me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
right.
Right. You know, so if I hear that laugh, I appreciate it, even though it hurts a little bit.
Right.
I'm laughing at the same time, but you're being honest. You know what I'm saying? And we all know.
Oh yeah. Well, some people don't, but what I love to see is the guy that bombs horribly and then tries to get out of the club. I like, nah, man, hang out, man. We hanging out after this, man. Come on, chill out, man. It's on me. And like they're like, it's on me because I want to be able to give you abuse more for the rest of the night. Like I want to be. I mean,
you got to take it on the chin, man.
Got to, man.
You got to take it on the chin.
Don't go home and wallow in your bomb. Like own it, man. Come hang out. Be louder than everybody else. Like you know what I'm saying? Like own it.
Man, when I first started, my buddy invited me to this corporate gig for Pizza Hut.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I got this. I'm like 2 years in the game. I'm like, weed jokes would go over perfect with pizza. Nothing. Right. I ain't thinking everybody's with their balls, so they can't laugh. So afterwards, everyone's going down to each comment. Great job, great job, great job. Hey man, stick with it. And I'm like, dude, like, but I had to stay. I couldn't go nowhere. The dude was my ride, but I sat there. Every person, hey man, how long? Keep it up. And I'm about to lick this whole buffet. But nope, I didn't. I took it on the chin, and I hate it when people don't. I think you're cheating yourself when you don't take it on the chin. I've had worse.
Right, and I mean it's funny. I had the attitude of until now, you know, if I do bomb, I got a show like in the next 3 days, so it's like dust yourself off, and that next audience has got to pay for this audience. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, and that was the difference that I had to kind of explain to people of the internet comic versus the regular stand-up comedian, open mic to working for money type comedian. Internet comic comes in with an automated fan base, automatic audience. So them bomb is not likely. I'm performing in front of strangers that don't know me and they're not a fan base. I got to make them become a fan base. So that part is easier to bomb because they don't have anything invested in you. They just came out to have a good time. They're like, I don't like this dude. Boo. You know what I mean? It's different than them saying, I follow this dude for the last 4 years. I want to see what he has to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. When you got a fan base, you're starting like up here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and you've got nowhere to go but down, really.
Absolutely. Now, I've seen people do it. You can do it. You can kill yourself, you know, basically on stage. And that brings up like another point. So, and I'll start with Aaron on this one. Have you ever had a situation where you're on stage and you lost the audience and couldn't get them back?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I did. My first weekend and this wasn't even something that I did. My first weekend in Greensboro. You know how the club works in Greensboro is there's a nightclub right next door. And if you go to the show, they give you a free pass to the club. So a lot of the people at the comedy show are there so they can drink a little bit and then they go to the club afterwards, right? Well, my first weekend there, the Arizona Pete's was closed for a corporate event all weekend. And these people didn't know that.
Okay.
So they were showing up to the club thinking they were going to get a free pass to this club that was closed. And this is how I was brought up every show. Ladies and gentlemen, we love to give you free tickets to Arizona Pete's. Unfortunately, Arizona Pete's has been closed for renovations, so we won't be able to do that. Your next comic is from Nashville, Tennessee. So I would walk up and no joke, for like the first 2 minutes, I would just talk about that. because everyone's like, oh, why are we even here right now?
Right.
Because I wish they would have told me that. I would have left. And now here's this guy talking, So I just, hard to dig yourself out of that hole, or at least it was hard for me.
Well, that was the intro that kind of bombed you, like going in. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, the host could have opened with that and then dug himself out of the hole.
Right.
Or just not told anybody till the end of the show.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think I was doing a benefit one time. It was like it was a company corporate gig, and the manager came up, CEO of the company came up right before the comedians came up, and he tried to go up there and tell some jokes. Obviously, people were trying to laugh out of politeness because they like their paycheck. Then he makes this announcement like, okay, guys, we all know why we're here. Kathy died, and we're raising money for her for cancer research. And I'm like, what? And everybody's like, moment of silence. And he was like, all right, so we got some comedians coming up. And I'm like, yo, dude, like,
there's just, what do you do in that situation?
Go to Dale Carnegie and learn how to make friends and influence people and learn how to bring people up instead of bringing the room down. like what is wrong with that dude, man?
Hey, it's starting you off rough.
I was so messed up. Mello, can you remember a time when you lost the crowd and couldn't get it back?
Oh yeah, several. I would have to say my favorite one was opening up for Michael Blackson and where was it? Roanoke Rapids or some raggedy ass. It was in
that even sound bad already.
It was in a lunchroom, I think, and they built a bar in it. But Rocky Mount.
Okay, all right. Okay, I know where that is. Okay.
So we're in Rocky Mount, and I get there. I'm nervous, Michael Blackson's headlining, and I go up on stage and I do this joke talking about where I'm from, living in Cary, mostly white, and like my neighbors being like, "Oh, sorry about slavery," or whatever. I can't even remember the joke, and I was like, "Well, all I said was, well, give me $5 then." And then these three sisters up front decided to be $5 wasn't enough and had a discussion on how much they should get paid through my whole set. And I was like, what y'all talking about? How you cheaping that? And they're just going off and I'm trying to get control. So this is what makes it worse, right? So I get off stage and I'm at the bar. My buddy was there. He drove me there because I didn't have no car. They asked him, guy Mike Spurlock. I don't know if you ever met him. Old school guy. Yeah. So Mike goes up, short little white dude, rips, like murders it, right? And I'm just at the bar by myself. They stopped serving me drinks. Said, yo, man, dude said you cut off. He had three sisters. The three sisters that dogged me out were at the table with him after his set, buying them drinks and shit. I'm by myself at the bar. We ended up at these chicks' house. I ain't even gotten paid yet. And come to find out they're selling crack out the door. Mike's fucked up. All this shit going on. I ain't even gotten paid yet. And then sitting there on the couch, she's like, hey, y'all, we went to a comedy show. I'm sitting next to the girl in the middle between her and Mike. She reached around me and go, he, the comedian, reached around me. I had to lean back. And then she looked at me and goes, oh, yeah, he was there, too. And I'm like, oh, God.
Man.
But, yeah, once they started out on how much money they should have got, it was just that through the whole set.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. Sometimes people don't realize that one audience member or two or three can ruin the whole set, like by reacting or how they take the joke. I was doing a show one time in St. Louis, and every joke I told, there was a guy that was sitting off to my right, and his reaction to almost every joke was "whoa," and it was literally messing up the room because people didn't know whether to laugh or whether he was so offended that they didn't feel like they could laugh. So he did it about the fifth time, and I'm like 12, 13 minutes into my set, and I'm realizing what's going on because like nothing's really hitting. And I go, dude, what are you drinking? And he goes, Bud Light or whatever he was drinking. I said, dude, let me get you some drinks. I need you to stop whoaing after I tell my joke. I was like, your reaction is fucking up the room like that. He stopped, and then everybody started laughing. And I was like, and so after the show, he's like, what do you mean? I said, dude, everybody was waiting for your reaction before they would laugh. Like, they didn't want to offend you. And I was like, he was a big black dude. I guess they was like, nah, I ain't trying to fight today. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I snapped at a guy in the Little Rock Looney Bin. It's the only time I've ever snapped at a guy.
Oh yeah.
I told him to shut the F up, which I'd never said before on stage. It felt real good to say. I was like, I get it. This dude kept trying to guess the punchline of every joke.
Oh, that dude was on a game show.
Yeah, he was drunk. Like there was no malice behind it, but he kept trying to like finish my sentences, and he was getting a lot of them. That's what really prompted me. I was like, oh, this guy's getting it. And I finally just go, hey, dude, shut up.
Aaron, if a drunk dude is guessing your punchlines, like you got to write better.
Well, that's why I was like, oh my God, how predictable are these jokes? This guy can't even stand up, and he's getting
funny. That's funny.
I almost had a whole table at that Greensboro room come after me.
Oh,
you know, like you said, they're there to party and then go next door.
Right.
Well, this table was celebrating a birthday, and they were having a good time, but they were just being loud. They come in and they just reek the weed. Like, I'm like, damn, you know, you're making me hungry. Like, and they were just messing up the tables. Like, even the tables calling them out about the, you know, how much they reeked and how loud they were. Finally, I was like, hey, shh, can y'all be quiet? You know, and the dude's like, yo, man, I said, and I was trying to be as cool as possible. I was like, look, man, I know it's your birthday. It's your birthday. But, you know, you're kind of talking too loud. You know, you're talking over me. And then I can't remember what he said. Then I was like, shut the fuck up. I started beatboxing. No, I started beatboxing. But in the middle of beatboxing, I would say, shut the fuck up. Am I supposed to cuss? I'm sorry if I ain't supposed to.
You're good, man.
But,
you're good.
But everyone started clapping along and saying, shut the fuck up. You know, like hitting the beat just nice. And dude wanted to fight me. Then they were like going in on my clothes. Like, look at your clothes. Like, oh my God, why do we have to do this? Like, literally, they had to come from the kitchen because, you know, their security is the bomb.
Right.
Get someone from the kitchen and be like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, dude, I want them to stay, have a good time, but they're ruining the show. And they were like, bye, bye, bye. I was like, fine, bye. I never kicked anyone out. I don't want anybody to dip. But they were just so rude and obnoxious. And there are people apologize and say, they're here all the time. And I'm like, and they act like that, you know, but.
Right.
But the fact they started trying to go in on my clothes, I was like, God, now we got to get 5-year-olds. And I really wanted to go in, but I'm like, there's like 8 of them.
But they had better clothes on than you?
They did. They did. They damn sure did. But
that's funny. I'm trying to see if there's a way I can share my screen. I don't know. I know I can, but I'm going to see if I can pull up my snapping moment online if I can. But I don't know if I can do it. But I used it on my album, actually. And it's a clip on my YouTube page where I snap. I'm doing a joke. I'm in the middle of explaining a joke, and this table would not stop talking. And it wasn't a situation where it just happened. This obviously had been building up, and then they got cops captured on camera. And I was like, "Yo, shut the fuck up!" And the whole crowd just erupted into laughter. I mean, like applause and laughter at the same time. And I was like, "Yo, if I'm not that funny, man, like walk outside." You know what I mean? I'm like, I got a microphone and I can hear you from here. You know what I mean? Like, it was that bad, but I think we've all had that moment. But
isn't it funny we all had the same line? It's just like
every comedian has said that. I'm sorry, but it's like you don't know where else to go. It's not a situation where it's so rude that that's the only thing you can say. You can't politely interject them into your joke. You can't politely ask them what they said. It's like, yo, man, I'm done with this. You know, next thing I say is gonna be outside. You know,
well, it's a slippery slope too, because you know, with me being such a chill mode, for me to go off would fuck up my whole damn, this dude.
Yeah, your name is Mello. Like you can't.
Yeah, the name is Mello. I can't be like, motherfucker, I'm gonna kill your motherfucking ass, motherfucker, and then just be like, so anyway, I'm going down the street. Like it don't work like that. So I always try to de-escalate the situation as much as possible, as nicely as possible. but there's some that just aren't going to be that way. And you just got to be like, look, when you say shut the fuck up, so like that, I think that's when they jump and be like, oh
yeah. And it's usually Friday late show. That's probably where you're going to get most.
Yeah, Friday late show.
Friday late show is the most nightmarish show because you always know something going to happen. Like it's always something that's going to happen. That's like that's going to the hood party and not expecting a fight to break out. Like you like it's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand why you don't think it's going to happen. But I remember getting back on stage for the first time since the pandemic. Friday late show, heckler got kicked out.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, what was that? And then somebody was like, Friday late show. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about Friday late show. And it was like, it's like we are back into it.
You know what sucks is when you had that good Thursday and then that Friday first show was dope. And then you're like, oh God, here it comes. Then it's just drunk.
Hey, so let's talk about that. Like, so Thursday is always the warm up. Like you haven't been on stage at the earliest. You probably haven't been on stage since the following Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
So then you get back into Thursday. That's the warm up. It's a one show that night. You get in, you warm up, you feel good. You're like, yeah, Friday is 2 shows. So you go in there, you kill it. You're like, all right, Saturday first show should be probably the best show of the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Right. You ever bomb on that Saturday late show?
Dude, I would rather bomb all weekend and then end on a good show.
And then on a good show.
And then the opposite.
What's worse is if you have a Sunday show and you already know that's going to be trash.
Yep.
Yep.
Sunday shows should not be allowed. But here's the thing. I feel like Sunday shows are set up for us to humble us from Saturday.
Yeah,
like
but
Saturday,
it's also
Saturday you can walk on top of the world like, yo, I'm about to blow up. I'm about to get my special. Like I killed it last night. You know what I mean?
They should only do it if you have good show Saturday.
Yeah, Sunday is like slow down, cuz like rethink your life choices, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the worst is when you have all your shows end up being good except the last one. You're like, what happened?
Right.
What happened? Like every show was dope except for the last one. What happened?
Right.
Just leave you stranded.
Think of the mindset of us as performers on stage and why we all think the same way. Because we can be in a room, 300 people, packed out. Everybody's having a good time. We're focusing on the person with their arms folded, not laughing at anything.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're going, man, I ain't do good that show. And they're like, you crazy? Did you hear the room? Like, yeah, man, I couldn't get this one guy, though.
Mm-hmm.
You mean like, it's like,
yeah.
It's like, what's going on in your head when you feel like you got to get everybody to like you?
You said you go after those guys, Mike?
Yeah. Like, when it bothers me to the point where that's all I can look at, I go at them. Not like at, like, while your arms folded. I just like, I call them out and I'm like, I'm going to get you. I make it a game between me and that person. And everyone's involved in the game.
Right.
So, like, I did that one time. I was doing a show in Wilmington and this one dude, huge, giant dude, just you could see his arms from way in the back just folded up. And I'm like, I'm not getting this dude. I'm like, how you doing, sir? What do you do? You know, he goes, I'm a state trooper. I was like, oh God, all right. Stay cool. I was like, you know those jokes about weed? Those are jokes, right? Nothing. Dead, like straight up. I was like, all right, you haven't laughed all night. I'm gonna get you. Do a next joke. Everyone's laughing. I check back. Nothing. All right. Next joke. Come back. Nothing. Did that to the end of the show. This last joke, probably the dumbest joke I got. It was a shit joke. This dude lost it. I was like, screw you, man. I had intelligent shit that you just rolled your eyes at. And you're going to laugh at it all because I did this, talking about shit, and he lost it. And I was like, you suck, dude. No, give me that back. I don't even want you to laugh at that joke. But I usually try to make it, fun to get them to loosen up. But some people, I had this one sister on the side. She wasn't having it. You can tell like she was the third wheel. She didn't want to be there with her friend and her man. Mm-hmm. And she's just there. I said, you just do not like me. And she was like, I was like, that's all you had to say, ma'am. And I just keep it moving.
I was doing a show.
Letting you know I seen it.
I was doing a show in Columbia, and it was a ballroom hotel gig. And I'm on stage and I'm doing these jokes, and the crowd, it's at least 80 people in there. And everybody's having a good time. And it's a lady like right on the right side of the stage, and she's looking at me the whole time during the show, and she's not laughing one time. Like she's putting her head down and stuff like that, but she's not laughing. Everybody at the table cracking up. So I finally get to the end of the show and I look over and I go, man, everybody have a good time. And they're like, yeah. I was like, ma'am, I really wish you would have had a better time. I was like, because I've really tried to get you to laugh the whole time. And her family goes, she's been laughing the whole time. I was like, no, she hasn't. She's been looking at me the whole time, not laughing at all. And it was like, oh, she had a stroke and that side of her face, she can't move. And I'm like, so my response to that was, couldn't y'all have sat on that side? Like that was like my response with my selfish ego. Like, yo,
put her in the back of the room. Yeah, I did a house show in Virginia, and they told us up front. They said there's a woman sitting right in the front, and she will be having a good time, but she has no ability to control her face.
Right.
So she'll look like she's just staring daggers at you.
Right.
But if they hadn't have told me that, I would have had a miserable time, though. I would have just seen that person.
Right.
You know? I should just tell myself that's the case all the time.
Right.
Be like, oh, there's a
like get on stage, they're not laughing, but hey, sorry about your stroke. Sorry about your stroke. They're like, what you talking about?
Bell's Palsy convention in town. They're all at the show.
Right. Yeah, they're all at the show.
Stroke convention. That's what it is. Like, I will transition into the next point. What, in your opinion, and we've all been to these different stages within our careers, what would you say are key elements to making a good host?
Go ahead, Aaron. I'll let you go.
Yeah, I think it's understanding that you're there to two things. One, that you work for the club. That's always been how I was taught, is when you're hosting the show, you work for the club. So you can do a set, but your primary responsibility is doing all of the housekeeping things, running the show. And I think the second thing is just understanding that you're there to serve the show. I've done a lot of shows where the host thinks it's his show, and you can't have an ego like that. Like that was one of the first things I was taught. It needs to be, you're hosting the show, you're working on behalf of the club, and your job is to make sure it's a good show. I don't know. I kind of trailed off there, but that's
you're right.
I've seen a lot of shows where the host kind of doesn't understand his role in the show. Doing
you're exactly right.
Comics, host lining after the headliner. It's like, what's going on here?
Oh
God, that gets me, man.
So that's somebody doing more time after the headliner leaves the stage.
Yeah.
God, that gets me right in the gut, dude. I've seen that so many times, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Oh, man.
Right.
When my boys get high, it's some real shit. What the fuck?
I did a show. I don't want to say who it is, but I did a show in middle of nowhere, Tennessee, at some club, and the host had his crew took up the whole green room. So it was me and the headliner couldn't even fit in the green room because the host had a stylist and a photographer. And I was like, I mean, what are we doing? You are emceeing the show. You're the host. You're going to tell us about the drink specials, and you got a stylist here?
Right.
Like, come on, dude.
Right.
All
right, so I already know that the dude was black because, first of all,
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like,
first of all, I already know that's a black dude. So, second of all, the one thing I will say, and we just had this conversation on the last Comedians Chopping It Up, this same type of scenario came up, but I will tell you there's a difference, Aaron and Mike. There's a difference in hosting versus at a club and at a room.
Oh, yeah, sure. Definitely.
Oh,
so at a room, it is your show. Because most of the time, the host is throwing that, and that is their show, and they host differently. When you are working for the club, like you said, Aaron, spot on. Get the announcements right. Make sure you do all the housekeeping. Make sure you remind the audience to keep the table talk to a minimum. Things like that. Get the intros right. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, when you get to a club and the host is going to be good, when the first thing they do is, hey, how you doing? I'm blah, 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 blah. I'm the host. What's your intro? Like, you're like, okay, cool. This guy's on it, I just did a show a month ago, not even, well, when I first got back on stage, last show of the evening, different host, dude never even got my name. Mind you, I was headlining, it was written on the board out on the street when you walk into the club.
Yeah, pretty easy name
at least
to remember,
say something.
Too.
Yeah, dude introduced me as JB. I was like, yeah. Nobody's
JB Smooth?
Yeah, nobody
like, JB Smooth here?
JB Ball.
JB is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, there's two different types of I'm saying, like, what gets me is when, like he said, Aaron said, when they think it's their show, like as the club part. Right. Because usually those are beginners, but I was always taught, stick to your time.
Right.
Do your jokes, get off. You know, and I've had, I ain't gonna say who, but we were talking, and this comedian was talking about a headliner going off on him for going over his time.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, you're the host. You got to stick to your time. You're trailing on everybody's shit. Like it falls in every, and he goes, it's not his show. I'm like, whose show is it? It's the club show. So wait a minute. No, it's his show. The club works for him. You're working for the club.
Right.
And him. But it just baffled me that he said that. It's like, yeah, I mean, one, he was right. The dude had no reason to talk to him like that. He could have came to him civilized. But also stick to your time. Right. And
even if you're working for the club, you still don't run, you still don't do more time.
You still don't run the time. Yeah. He's like, well, I was bombing. He goes, well, I was bombing. I was trying to get him back. I was like, well, you take the L and get the hell off stage. Because what if you never get him? And I watched this one comic, this other comic, he would do that. His own boy was flashing him. He's like, did you light him? I was like, my light burnt out, bro. Like, he literally supposed to do 8 minutes. He did 15 to 20. He would lose him. Yes. Yes. I am not lying. And this is a theater show. Jeez. This dude went up there and look, he lost him, right? I got to say this. I got to say this part. Dude lost him. Like, had nothing. He goes, yeah, I'm about to cook some green beans, some black eyed peas. And then was like, okay. And then he started getting them back, you know, some collards and then we saw that like, woo. And then he would lose them again. And then I'm like, all right, you got him, get him off. Nope, he lose them again. He's like, oh, got to get him back. And then he started talking about some more food, like fried chicken. I was like, oh my God, man, what is going on? What is going? Are you serious right now? But he kept, every time he'd lose him, he'd come in with food. And I'm like, just in the back, like, this is the best shit I've ever seen. Wow. I guess I'm only doing 8 minutes and getting this $500 check.
Right. And that's the crazy part. It's like, I see somebody run the light, I'll be like, well, I guess I'm only doing 15. They're like, nah, you still got to do your time. I'm like, hey, man, when you start running into the headliner time, or if I'm a headliner and somebody running into my time, I'm like, I'm not doing any extra. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm going a half hour. They're like, you're supposed to do 45 minutes. Well, he took 15 of them. So,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not my fault. You know, get
I'm
mad.
I'm not gonna tread on homeboy stuff just because he treaded on mine. Like,
right. Well, yeah, and that's always a difficult situation too, which probably we can transition into the next thing. What makes a good feature? Because the feature to me is the glue to the nonsense. Like the host takes the bullets. Like, you don't know what's going to happen.
That's what you're there for, yeah.
Right, you're there to take those bullets. But the feature is the transition from whatever nightmare could happen or a good beginning of a good show. So if the host goes up there and kills it, which happens, and then you go on, you got to keep that rhythm going. So you got to be a chameleon of sorts because, number one, you got to transition from the host to you to bring in who they came to see. And if the host is horrible, you got to get the crowd back to get them ready for the headline.
You're the new host then. You're the new host.
Right. Or it's a room full of hecklers. You got to chill up all the hell out before the headliner get on stage. Yeah. So it's like
I bailed on my set just to help the headliner out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just because all the hecklers, I'll stop my shit and make it cool. Whoever it is at the top, I'm trying to make it cool for them.
Right.
And I'm trying to keep my job. You know what I'm saying? At the same time.
Right.
You know.
So
it's just a respect.
It is. And it's I mean, like I said, the feature spot people call it the sweet spot because, you know, nobody's there to see you. It's almost an added bonus when you're really good because the crowd wasn't expecting it. They're lathered up into a point when the headliner gets on because they're like, man, that guy was great. But then it's always crowd control and his work. And how many times have you been a feature and you have to give like a couple words to the headliner before you go on stage to be like, hey, man, they're a little talkative, or look, that one table over here on the right, they're going to be a problem. You know, it's like one of those type things. It's like one of those talks before they get on stage, or you get off and be like, hey, man, they ready. You know what I mean? Or, you know, something like that. You know, it's an enviable spot once you get the headliner. Like when you get the headliner, it's an enviable spot.
Yeah, because there's no pressure of closing the show, right? But you still have a long enough set to where you can experiment with stuff and kind of have fun with it.
Right.
You know, when you're hosting a show, it's like I always felt, and I still feel when I host, is like a responsibility to kill. And if you have 10 minutes, that's not a lot of time when you think about announcements and things. It's not a lot of time to try out new jokes and do other stuff. So you're just kind of just doing what you know will work. And then all of a sudden, I remember that first time, it's like you have 30 minutes. And I was like, wow.
Right.
Dude, 30 minutes. I could do anything I want. You know? That is a nice feeling, but I've never thought about it coming back from the other way.
Right. Right. Well, yeah. So when coming back from the other way, like, so I remember going from 30 to 45, like saying, all right, you got an extra 15 minutes, you actually headlining, right? So now I was like, all right, so the first thing I used to do, because when I was doing 30, I had 45 minutes that I was trying to cram into 30. So I'm hitting jokes like this, you know, I'm trying to, I gotta get this new bit in, or I gotta try this new joke out, and I gotta squeeze it all in. And I had all this information, and I'm trying to squeeze it all in. And then it was like, dude, just take some stuff out. And I was like, nah, they got to get the whole experience of Jay Bliss. Like, you know, it's like one of those
you want to hear all of it.
Right. Then you get the headliner, and it's like, all right, slow everything down. Like take a breath, take a sip of your drink, like relax. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then even at that point, you still feel like you don't have enough time at times. And the check drop is a nightmare if you don't know what you're doing. It's like you got to time out your set in a way that you're not in the middle of a long story or somewhere where someone really needs to pay attention in order to get the punchline during the check drop. Like you almost have to have some.
I always wonder if there's a better system. A lot of clubs do it differently. Like Zanies here in Nashville, they don't drop checks on the tables right around the stage.
Okay.
That's like Good Nights. The first 3 rows, they don't drop checks until the end of the show.
Yeah.
That's dope. You will see that might come from maybe a headliner saying something about it. I know there are clubs in New York that during the check drop, the headliner leaves the stage and they give a check drop set to an open mic. Yeah.
I know some headliners have ended the show and then brought the feature back up to do a set after them during the check drop.
When the check drop.
Yeah. Right. That seems, I don't like that as a feature. Right. I would hate to have that.
Right.
And I know I've been to like the Comedy Cellar in New York. I mean, you just pay after the show's over. Like they don't even do a check drop.
Right.
You just pay on your way out. Which,
right. So, and a lot of times, I mean, I feel like crowd work is necessary at that point. Like, you know, like I've been looking at y'all all night. What's y'all deal or something like?
Yeah.
Because I don't really want to get into something at that moment. I kind of wait. There's usually 2 or 3 tables I focus on when I see the check drop, and I see where they are within the system. And then once I see like the hands go down, the pin goes down, and everybody sit back, I'm like, all right, let me get back into it. See, most people won't even realize that that's something we're looking at. You know what I mean? But we've done it long enough to be able to know why that joke didn't work. Like, oh, it wasn't you, it was the check drop. Like, oh, all right. It's like I don't suck. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things. But I think what makes a good headliner is somebody that can actually control the room. And I feel like a good headlining set, this is just my personal opinion, should have a minimum of 3, what I like to label as room turners. Items within your set that just puts the audience into a lather of laughter. Like at least 3 moments within that set where the room just goes crazy. And I just feel like it's necessary because people have to know they're at a comedy show. If I've seen headliners go on stage and they've had 45 minutes of good feature material where it's like, it was cute. Like you literally could have did the feature set. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're a headliner, you should be bringing the house down at some point during your set. And I just feel like that's a strong indicator that that person is an entertainer, and I feel like they have a great stage presence and good material. I'm not saying that they can't be a headliner because a headliner is just time, but I just feel like there's a different level of comedy you should be able to bring by doing 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I know one night at Good Nights they were doing a laugh per minute test to the owners.
Yeah, yeah.
That was like right when they took over. So they're like, let's see who the ones we think about working. And I never really thought about it. I just go up there and try to make everybody laugh every joke. You know, and they come back, it's like, damn, Mello, you got like headliner shit. And I'm like, well, damn, I've been doing this shit 30 years.
Yeah.
At least, you know, but
I almost forgot what it is. Is it 6.5?
What's that? It's something like every 7 to 12 seconds or something like that.
I think it's either 6.5 laughs per minute or 7 laughs per minute. Is it 7.5 or 8? I think it's close to 7.5 or 8 or something.
That seems so dumb to me.
It does, but they actually used to use that though. They actually used to use that in like the 80s to get you to be a headliner. Like you had to have certain laughs per minute. And that was that whole rule of 3 and set up punchline, Prentice set up punchline and all that stuff. And it was like they actually used to do that, like measure it. And it's not hard to do. Like if you look at your set right now, if you looked at a 12-minute set and you just counted each time somebody laughed, even a giggle, it doesn't even have to be a full laugh, like just a smirk or giggle, that counts. So you would probably be at 6.5, 7, 8. Sometimes some people at 9 and you don't even realize just based off the way you write. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I think what annoys me is that it assumes all laughs are equal.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Which is right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather have one big, great laugh than 4 giggles.
Right. Because
it annoys me to even think about analyzing my set that way. Right. I don't think that would benefit me at all to sit down with a spreadsheet, and like chart out my 20 minutes and be like, we gotta,
Nah, I feel like I feel like in the beginning it made me write a certain way though. When you do, it will make you write a certain way, right?
Sure.
But now when I look at it, I don't have jokes that sound alike. Like I got jokes that are quick hitters. I got jokes that are long stories that only have one laugh in it. You know what I mean? It's like a big long story and then one punchline at the end. I got 3 laughs up front and one big one at the end. You know what I mean? And this big silence in the middle. Like I have all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So,
but you as a comic will feel it and you'll know, oh, there needs to be a laugh right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Or there's a lull in this story. Like something needs to, you feel it out. You don't look at it. You don't crunch the numbers.
Yeah, you've been on stage before, just be talking
about hold on, fellas.
Why am I talking so much? Why am I talking so much? You know what I mean?
I've been there. I'm like, I'm still up here talking.
I had a comedian tell me one time, hey, that joke was funny at the end, but what's all that bullshit up front? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like,
God.
Say, what you giving a soliloquy? Why you gotta explain the joke, dude? Just tell the joke. I was like, man, shut up, man. I was setting up my exit. And he was like just laughing, but it was funny because he was dead serious. He was like, man, get on with it, man. Come on, I ain't got time for that. I was like laughing or whatever, but he was dead serious. But sometimes you gotta appreciate the people that are brutally honest with you. Instead of blowing smoke up your ass every 5 minutes talking about how great you are. And it's like, sometimes you just need a reality check where somebody can just walk up to you and be like, yeah, I don't like that joke. And you're like, For real, like I hate every time. I hate it every time you do it. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. Like
that's why I broke up with my last girl. I don't like that joke. You don't like nothing I say. You don't like nothing.
Listen, let me tell you something. It's all fun and games when you meet a comedian. Every female loves you to death when they first meet you.
Oh yeah, that shit don't last though.
About 3 or 4 months in, ain't nothing funny to them no more. They heard all the material. Shit ain't funny to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't do crowd work in the relationship.
Nah,
right?
See, I don't know. It's still better than dating a comic.
Listen, that's one thing I would not do. I would not.
I did it.
You did?
Yeah, like 3 years, and she started turning into a competition.
That's
she was like,
better than
every
her,
time
Mike?
you go, huh?
Were you better than her?
Yeah, I've been doing it way long.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she was comparing our careers, and I'm like, no, you can't. You've been doing it 2 years. I've been doing this shit 8. Like,
right.
She's like, everywhere you go, you get a spot. I'm like, I had to work for this shit. It's not like they're just giving this shit to me. I had to work my ass off to get to this point. Right. But she didn't see none of that. So she just assumed she should get that. Where she got hooked up quite a bit through me. She got to open up for fucking Tracy Morgan and Russell Peters. All because she was there. And she
her last.
But then Caleb just said he remembers her. Caleb,
say what?
I remember her.
Oh yeah. I mean, we good now. Hopefully, she ain't watching. But
she watching. She watching.
I know, right? But yeah, she used to try to compare it, and I'm like, that's not fair. You can't do that because I'm way years ahead of you. I have way more invested in this than you. But that's where problems started happening. And
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because I know the mindset of a comedian. And you take the need for attention, the fragile egos that we have, and you put that in a female, that shit ain't gonna work. Like, I'm just sorry. I know that this is going to happen. You understand what I'm saying? And then I can't be laying in bed next to you and you working out material with me. I'm like, no, like, take your clothes off.
I would like
be dealing with that. Like, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's just, or let's say, for instance, you're dating her and she doesn't have a good set.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. That's what I think my buddies that have dated comics, they're like, you have anxiety about your own set and like you want to do well.
Oh God,
and then you also assume all of it for this other person. And now your night is tied up in whether this other person does well too.
Absolutely.
It's like you have anxiety. It's like you're on stage. That's too much.
Now,
definitely.
How about the fact that, and then if it's your female, if this is your girl, this your lady, you obviously care about her. So she goes up, she doesn't have a good set. Now you feel bad and you got to go up and do a set. So your whole night is ruined because she's upset that she didn't do well.
And you got to be a support system to her. Or
right.
Oh yeah. I was more nervous watching her than me going up.
Right. It's a headache, man.
I'm like, God, please don't suck tonight. Please don't, babe. I love you, babe. Don't suck tonight.
And listen,
oh my God.
I don't want any female watching this feel like we female bashing because we not. It just happened.
Oh, no, not at all.
I'm sure
if I could find the perfect one, that would be great.
But how many times have you guys been backstage and that phone ring before that comedian goes on stage and he goes, "What? Like right now? You want to talk about this right now?" And he be like, I gotta go. I get it to stay. And then they go up there and bomb. You be like, "Oh, she got him. She got him." Like,
look, in every single relationship I have, my thing is, hey, if we got some beef, we can handle it whenever. Let's talk about it, but not before a show. Every time. That's me telling them, hey, do it right before a show. I shouldn't have said shit. But every time, like on the way to the show, so who's this chick on? What are you talking about? Like right now?
We'll just talk after the show.
Like, I remember one time my girl called me, found out I cheated on her. And I had to go up on stage, and I had to do 30 minutes. I was like, can I do like 45, 50? I don't want to go home.
Oh, you just want to stay up there?
I just wanted to stay up there, and everybody knew. Everybody was laughing at me. I was like, "Y'all laughing, but I'm for real. Like,
Man,
I don't want to go home."
You mean that one's a little bit on you, Mike.
They're like, is
It
that
was.
is that a light? Like, no, that's a red dot on your chest. Like, she in the back. Hold on.
No, the funny thing is, like, she started doing comedy after we started dating.
I got Funnymaine up here late. Boy, you late as hell. Hey, I gotta
You know what? You told me 8:30. Now I'm wondering, was it 8:30 Eastern time?
Yes, Eastern.
See, you got to be fair. I'm 8:30 Central. What's going on, though, guys?
Hey, what's up?
And you ain't messaged me or nothing, bro. I just like.
Hey, I figured you was busy, man. I said this dude is in his job. He got to do what he got to do. Let me introduce you to the people. It's my man, Funnymaine, out of Alabama. Met this brother at the Stardome. Actually, I met you at the radio station first, and then saw that you were a. Why you looking? Because
I'm putting up that it says 8:32 in my time.
Funny comedian in his own right, and has niched a fan base of his own by accident almost. By doing a video clip of him watching a football game and taping his reaction, and found a following. And this dude has been traveling everywhere, all because of Alabama football. So what's good, man? What's good with you?
It's good, man. Always good to talk to you, bro. Fellas, good to meet y'all, man. Jay Bliss, man. When I tell you this, bro, just been the same since I met him. Like, it's so refreshing to just meet somebody that's just the same, like all the time. Always a good guy. Always got a positive word for you. Always just genuine, man. So Jay, if nothing else, bro, I appreciate you, man. I really do.
No doubt, man. I appreciate that, man. I really wanted to talk to you and Aaron together, and start talking about the fact that you guys both have been doing comedy the standard way, right? The standard way first, and you got your voice because of your love for Alabama football. And then that's the best fan base you could actually get, because y'all have something in common, and they're more willing to listen to what you have to say, even though their beliefs might not be your beliefs. So you actually can take your fan base, get them to think a different way with comedy, right? Aaron, I will say I watched your growth came from something we wouldn't really do, is that's TikTok. You just start putting your clips up, right? Lo and behold, you got people following you left and right because they're like, yo, this dude funny as hell. And I'm like, this dude is putting minute clips up and this dude is getting a crazy following. But it's like, when this thing turns around, just like never know what's going to make it happen for you. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You made me get on TikTok because I was like, this dude is getting how many views? You would never get those views on Facebook or Instagram. You know what I mean? So how has that been for you?
Well, we'll see if any of those people actually come to see a show.
I think they will, man. I really do, man. I can't see them not, because it's like the stuff you're putting up. I mean, number one, the quality is good as far as the video, but you know, it's like they probably want to hear more.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I always think about people that if you have a big social media following, like it could go away. Like they could take Instagram from us tomorrow. Right. And TikTok, I mean, God, they might take TikTok. They might actually take that away.
Right.
Because, I mean, there's been all kinds of, Trump's talking about it. He wants to get rid of it. So it's like, dude, who knows?
Right.
It's probably dangerous for me to even have installed on my phone, but it's the only platform I'm actually getting views. So, I'll sell my soul to China for a few thousand followers.
I mean, it's funny because it's like, I wasn't a believer in it until I put a video up and I was like, yo, I got how many views and how many minutes? You know what I mean? It's like, when you see something like that, you're going, I got to put something up. Like I might as well. I mean, I'm not doing no dances or anything, but I got plenty of clips to put up of me just being on stage. You know what I mean? So that's where I felt like that was an opportunity. You know what I mean? But
are you doing stuff on TikTok, Funnymaine?
I haven't been able to get into TikTok. My Facebook is my bread and butter.
Yeah.
YouTube is doing really well. Twitter, explosive, and I got I blessed to get the blue checks on all of those after fighting. So I felt like Thanos when I got all the stones or whatever. So TikTok, man, TikTok looks fun. It gives me like Vine vibes, which I was heavy on Vine for a time. So I haven't done it yet, man. But once that's the thing about me with an app. Once I get it, it's got.
Yeah. You gotta kind of find. You gotta basically. I would review it first and then find your lane, and then stick with that lane. Like that's like the only thing I can basically tell you because their algorithms are different, and sometimes you get a lot of views, sometimes you get none. So it just depends on what's going on with it.
That's pretty much all of them. They all, especially when they start bringing in ad revenue, they're gonna always switch that algorithm toward the ads, and that's Instagram is going crazy right now with it. I don't even know what the hell their formula is about. Facebook is pretty solid, pretty standard. So yeah, TikTok, it'll just be another one we have to learn and adjust to.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I feel like it's a necessary evil. But if I wasn't a comedian, I wouldn't be on any of this. I wouldn't be on Facebook. I wouldn't be on Instagram. I wouldn't be on any of it. I really wouldn't. I mean, it's such a pain in the ass, and I've lost so many friends, quote unquote friends, over nonsense, over differences of opinion. So I feel like, all right, whatever. But I feel like me being on stage gives me an opportunity to be able to voice my opinion without somebody yelling at me for my opinion. Because all I got
you don't get yelled at while you're on stage.
Huh?
You don't get yelled at while you're on stage.
Yeah, but I could always kick them out.
Aaron, what's your? I'm logged in right now. Aaron, what's your?
I'm at real Aaron Weber.
All right.
And those numbers probably won't impress Funnymaine, but
I mean, dude, I think I got like 10 TikTok followers. Man. I think
I'm kidding.
Listen, man, I'm gonna tell you, it's if you guys haven't seen Funnymaine, it's amazing to me. And we had that conversation over the phone, and it was like, what happened? Like, how did that come about? And you was like, dude, I just taped a reaction of me watching the game, and it just spiraled from there, right?
Right. But and Aaron and Mike, you a comedian too? I haven't talked to you, but okay.
I'm sorry. I'm always assuming
that leaving Mike out. Yeah,
Mike.
I got the social media presence though, so this is on y'all.
Well, the thing about it is, when you come in, a lot of people have done it backwards. Like they blow up on social media, then they try to be a comedian. Coming in as a comedian first, and then making the jump to social media. I think we had we had a lot more love and understanding for it. Like, okay, let me flip to the business side and see how I can turn this into merch and turn it into tickets and all of that. Whereas a lot of people that just start off with internet fame, they don't know much and they have to learn by trial and error.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we were talking earlier, Jermaine, about what makes a good feature host and a headliner. And you being at your home club being a Stardome, which is probably one of the hottest stages to hit in the country. I mean, you probably take advantage or take it for granted because you live there. But when I tell you we travel and people will talk about that crowd on Wednesday and realize like that's probably better than any weekend room that I've been in anywhere. Like just the number of people that's in there on a Wednesday is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, that club has been around a little bit over 30 years now. I think maybe 30, 34, 35 years. And they've trained the city how to accept comedy, how to know comedy. Like Birmingham is literally trained. Like they know okay, this guy coming, he may not be the biggest thing now, but we've seen Kevin Hart come through. We've seen Deion Cole come through all before they blew up. So we like to support the young guys. Of course, we're going to buy the tickets to see the main guys, but they understand supporting upcoming talent, and they're going to laugh if you're funny. They're not caught up in it's got to be a brand. Like, no, we want to see the next guy, which is very, very rare for a Southern comedy club. Very, very rare.
Right.
But they got started at the right time. Bruce Ayers and family, they made the right moves. And when you come up in the Stardome, like you said, it could be a mixed crowd on a Wednesday night. So you gotta have a mainstream show that appeals to a lot of people, because that's what we get used to.
Yeah. It's a dope room, man. I get excited every time they tell me you going to Birmingham. I'm like, yeah, I'm going. You know what I'm saying?
That makes me feel good, man. I didn't know we had a little clout like that out there.
Oh yeah, people love going to the Stardome. I mean, it's a bit of a hump, but we'll go. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll go in a minute.
I will say, I feel like
that quick little drive.
Black comics and white comics talk about it very differently.
Really?
I'll be honest, Jay Bliss, I've never heard. I love the Stardome. I got to work there a bunch. I've never heard it described that way.
Really?
Wow.
It's always like, for a certain kind of white comic, it's like, this is like one of the hardest rooms in the country, like notoriously difficult.
He's right.
Yeah,
the guys that come in there from like the East Coast, West Coast, sometimes the Midwest guys do great. The Southern guys do pretty good, but they always say, man, that room was tough. Like, it's so big. Like, I wasn't getting the laughs. They say it all the time.
I never,
he's right.
I've seen terrible.
Yeah,
we did it together. Yeah, I've never, I don't, not that I kill every time there, but I do okay there.
Yeah.
But that's because I do a lot of like Funnymaine, like mainstream rooms. If you're coming from doing a bunch of alt shows in your city and you're like a white guy with glasses and you're like, man, I went to the if you go to the Stardome, you're going to be like, what is this?
He's absolutely right.
Like, oh, this is like real America, like I've never seen before. That's always been it was just funny. I've never heard it like described that way. But
wow. I would have never thought, and it's funny to me because working with you for the couple of times that I worked with you, I feel like you can go anywhere. Like, I just feel like your material just translates everywhere. Like, and then the funny thing is when you do that voice, when you do your voice, the joke about your roommate, it's so funny. And then like the fact that people assume it's a black dude, which is hilarious to me, but you never allude to it.
Yeah.
And then you make people uncomfortable if they mention it. It's a perfect joke, you know what I mean? But it's like, I just feel like even before you do that, I feel like you can work any room. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Okay. Stop everything. I gotta hear this voice like right now.
Oh, dude, it's dope, bro. You might be like, I've seen this dude before.
I haven't done it in a long time. And it's just the climate's a little different than it was. You know what I mean? It's like,
say no more. It ain't the right setup.
It's a little difficult. But
he said the climate is different. That's hilarious.
It is.
It's a little hot. A little hot.
Yeah, I tell people. I said I was on stage and I told people we had a uncomfortable climate in the country right now. I was like, but I'm an asshole, and I like to keep shit going. So in my spare time, when I'm out in public and I see white women walking with their man, I wink at them, just to keep shit going. You know what I mean? It's just.
What was the last show we did together? Did we do Charlotte last year?
Yeah, we did Charlotte.
When the lady passed out.
Yeah. You had an issue, and I think you were getting into town late from the airport.
Crazy.
And I had to do more time up front. But the crowd was packed. They all came out to see you, and the lady was so drunk.
Yep.
She passed out on the floor, and you were up on stage, and you were like, y'all want to get her some help? Like, I was in the back, like he's literally killing them. Like, She passed out. They got the ambulance come. And here's the crazy part. This took 20 minutes, 20, maybe 20, 25, 30 minutes. After that, this dude did a question and answer, and it was a long line just to do a meet and greet for this dude at the end. And I'm going, these people stay here for a whole hour and 40 minutes extra.
Right. It was so crazy, but so dope, man. Charlotte always showed me love. The past 4 years, they sold it out every time. They come in with a lot of energy. But my bag got lost between DC and Charlotte. And I thank God, I don't know why, but I had 2 extra t-shirts in my bag. I had a black one and a white one. I usually wear like this standard shirt is like my trademark shirt. And I didn't have it. Thank God I had a toothbrush in my backpack. I literally left the airport, went to the hotel for like 5 minutes. I think I got a 2-minute shower, brushed my teeth, ironed this white t-shirt, showed up. Jay was on stage rocking it. Like I got a little bit of video of you rocking it. These people had no idea I've been through all this stuff. I ain't got no clothes, nothing. Then the show is like booming, like the crowd is rocking like Charlotte is. And this lady and her table, they were being obnoxious the whole time. I'm going in on them. And toward the end, she like hit the floor. I want to say head first. She was out cold. I still got the video.
Yeah.
And so just imagine losing your luggage, trying to get on stage at the last minute, somebody passing out. It's like one of the craziest times ever. But yeah, the after the ambulance came and got the lady, people were, like he said, they were still standing around, pulled them back in, told them about my whole day. It's like, we didn't know. And took pictures with everybody, man. So shout out to Charlotte.
It was insane. I was like, man, I couldn't believe they were that drunk. Like, and I was like, why they let them into the club? But I was like, they didn't already pay their tickets. Like, you sold that show out, what, 4 weeks before you actually got it?
a few weeks before. Yeah, it was a blessing, man. But that was like bananas, man. So shout out to you for holding it down, bro. Like you.
Oh man, that was my pleasure, man. It was my pleasure.
You damn near getting a standing O. I gotta follow this shit.
No, I walked in there. I was like, "Yo, this joint sold out." You know how we get? We still sold out room. We be sitting like, "Yo, out shit." Like,
and you know what? I was in, the side by the dark, enjoying it, and my mind wasn't right yet for obvious reasons. So I signaled the watch car. I was like, "Tell him you about 5 more minutes," which don't happen in comedy. You get a lot of headliners. You up there ripping, they like, get that off
the stage.
I was like, no, tell them 5 more, because I ain't peed yet. I barely brushed my teeth. Tell them 5 more, man. You rocked it. I think Bert showed up late. He was trying to do some time, and somebody was there too, a white guy, I think.
Yeah, he was hosting.
Okay, yeah. Oh, he was hosting. Yeah. So, nah, man, it was dope, bro. It was a crazy night. It was dope.
I think we all strive to be able to sell out shows. Like we all strive to get to the point where we're able to sell out a show on our own with our own fan base. So bravo to you to be able to do that. I think we all want to get to that point eventually. To be able to for people to be able to hear our voices and just know what type of material that we're gonna get. But we don't know when it's gonna happen. But big up to you to be able to get that point. You know what I'm saying? Get to that point.
Bro, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing. And like you said earlier, I didn't see it coming, but and when it got there, I remembered guys like you and a lot of cats that I met along the way. I was like, yo, I'm coming to your town.
Oh yeah, you rocking with
you know what I'm saying? Like I asked for my guys that's been with me, on the way up. So it's just good to know other good comedians, man. It really is.
Now I'm gonna talk to Mike real quick. Mike, so you on the other end, you're really close to somebody that sells out arenas. So you're actually really cool with Russell Peters, to the point where when Russell come to town, you getting to hit the stage, and it's like, what's that experience like I don't the biggest show I did was 3,000 people.
It was dope. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. Like I know one time I just went to Atlanta to go visit him.
Right.
Like because he was gonna be out the country. So I was like, yo, man, I'm coming to Atlanta. Just kick it with you, whatever. And we were just talking behind stage. He was like, you want to do some time? I was like, huh? He said, you want to go up do some time? I was like, man, I ain't, I mean, you know, you like. So he's like, talk to my brother, give me your information, and you need to go because show starts in 3 minutes. I'm like, huh? So I had to go up in front of like 5,000 or something with no time, just be like, go. And I'm like, good, all right. And all I had was the new stuff I just wrote, and I was like, Lord, please let this work, please. Right. But it turned out to be dope. I mean, it was being around him. It was dope because I mean, you get the big rooms and shit, but it was just work, you know. I mean, once you get used to it, I mean, when you see all those heads out there that you aren't used to, I'm doing like 200-300 now. It's like 3,000, 2,000-3,000. You're like, all right, just look at the front row. It's just no different. Just take this first section, just concentrate. But I mean, it was dope. But I mean, it's a work environment, so I didn't have too much time to enjoy it till it was over. Yeah. And then you get back to the room, and be like, damn, I just did that shit. That shit was crazy, you know. But you have to keep it. You got to hold your shit together.
Yeah, y'all as comedians, am I the only one you get back to the room, especially if it's a good or terrible show, you replay the whole thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
It starts coming back, especially like if it's really dope and you don't know what just happened. Right. But then you start getting a little bit at a time to come back.
Experience. Every show I do, I can't get to sleep unless I go through a routine of winding down. It's like if I compared it to Bruce Banner turning into the Hulk. Okay, you got to find a way to get him to turn his hand over and calm him down to be able to go back into Bruce Banner, right? So the energy and the adrenaline that I have when I get off stage, there's nowhere to release that. I usually can get that from these type of things here, just chopping it up at the end of the show, to go hang out after the end of the show, chop it up with comedians. If I don't have that, I can only thing I can do is light a cigar and have a drink and relax that way. Aaron, you were a perfect example of that. When we did the show in Alabama, we would go smoke after. I would go smoke a cigar because I gotta wind down. I cannot.
That's what they tell me with cigarettes, and then they got me addicted. It doesn't help; it just makes it worse.
Right.
That's the lie they tell you. This is good for anxiety. So you're like, oh, you get off stage, you smoke a cigarette, then it's just worse.
Right.
And you're addicted.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, and then when you miss that for 3 months, and you don't have that adrenaline into your system, pumping into your system, that stage, you withdraw. You don't know what's going on. And then now, you know, that's where the arguments start, the short attention span, the edginess, the anxiety, all of those things I've been going over for the last 3 months. You know what I mean?
So quick question, like when the pandemic and everything shut down, did y'all still feel those certain nights you go out, you still felt the anxiety of before you go up on stage any? Because I know like the first week, 2 weeks, I was at that certain time around 7 o'clock. I'm like, damn, why am I getting the bubble guts? You know, like I'm about to go up on stage. But I've had that for like probably like 2 weeks where that I was just so constantly hitting the mics or whatever, those certain nights. I'm like, man, and I found myself having to chill out and be like, yo, you ain't got to do shit. Like, relax. Calm down. You don't have that, you know?
I haven't been on stage since March 7th.
Right.
Yeah. So I've been wanting to go back and do some small rooms around there. I just haven't been out there, man. How much have y'all been on stage since then?
We talked about it before we went on. I had 2 shows, 2 weekend shows. I did it and I didn't feel comfortable. So, you know, I did the shows. I just didn't feel comfortable.
Gotcha.
I was back for about a month. I got a little too comfortable, and then everything shut back down. So who knows when it'll start?
Have y'all been tested or diagnosed? Or?
You had tested, Aaron? You said?
Yeah, I got tested a couple times.
Oh yeah.
Because of my fiance was exposed to somebody who had it, so we just got tested and then got tested again the next week just to make sure. So it's really
you went to one of the drive-up places?
One of them was a drive-up place at the Titan Stadium in Nashville. You just pull it up, and then I went to like an urgent care. Tennessee, I don't know what it's like in Alabama or North Carolina, but it's like Tennessee is 100% free, and it doesn't take that long. You just kind of roll up and do it. So, just trying to stay on top of it.
I've been tested 3 different times. I tested positive the second time. Then I was on lockdown for 2 weeks. And then I just got the third one results last Wednesday. So it's been a week since I've been off of quarantine. The process here it's fairly simple. You show your license and your insurance card, but then they get you through pretty fast. They will stick that damn thing. Boy.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Touch your eyeball, don't it?
It'll get I got after the second time though. The first time threw me off. I was not ready.
Mm-hmm.
I cried. And then the second time I was like, all right, I know what to do. It was a good experience. And then the third time it was good, but they went up both nostrils. So the first one I made it through. Then they was like, we got to do the second one. I was like, oh, hell no. Yeah. And after that, I was like, I don't want to do this no more, man.
So did you get tested for your antibodies after?
They didn't offer. I don't know if they're doing an antibody test here, which is crazy. We got probably the most known university hospital system in Birmingham, UAB, but their Fauci was here at one point. He mentioned UAB. They were working with some doctors here. Like it's a big time, probably next to Vanderbilt. So I don't know why they're not doing it. They were working on a cure at one point. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Oh man, that's crazy. So like I said, man, I hit the stage, but like I brought my own microphone and everything like that. Like I wasn't trying to be around anybody. Wow. And
brought your own mic?
Yeah. So when I got on stage, they introduced me. They took the mic off. I just plug mine in and then went from there, and then took it off at the end. But I was just taking precaution because I'm responsible for taking care of my mom right now. So
there you go.
I didn't have the opportunity. I don't have the luxury of saying, all right, let me see if my body gonna look out for me. You know what I mean? So I mean, it is a crapshoot because everybody's body's different. Everybody's gonna react differently.
Yeah.
Some people can say, yo, I got it, and you check out a month later.
Right.
You know what I mean? So but who knows? You know what I mean? So that's where we are. But we running out of time. But I would say this. I'm gonna probably reach out to each one of y'all again individually and try to bring y'all back on here. Jermaine, we're gonna get the time right the next time though.
Please put a little E on the end. I'm in Central Time Zone. You say 8:30. I was like, cool, 8:30. Boom.
And you know what? I put the EST on probably everything that I sent except for you. Probably I probably did the EST for everybody else except for you. That's probably
set me up, man. You set me up, bro. after that great intro I gave you, you set me up, man.
That's my bad, man. You know what? I'm assuming everybody's on Eastern Standard Time because Eastern Standard Time is the best time. So we just everything.
You think I'm finna claim my time zone? You are sadly mistaken.
Only time I enjoy your time zone is I'm driving down to Alabama and I realize I'm actually an hour earlier than what I thought I was. I'm like, oh shit, I got an extra hour. I can go lay down when I get to the hotel.
Nah, man, we're right here on the line. You go to Atlanta and it changes and all that. So and then I'm in LA all the time, so I got no loyalty to any time zone.
All right, well, listen. So real quick before I let you go, for Jermaine, I do another thing on Sundays called HBCU Stories.
Oh,
and I will have you on that.
You got to.
All right, I'm gonna have you on that one too.
Yeah, you ain't got a choice. You got to get me in on that.
No doubt, I got you on that one. Yo,
I have my lawyer present.
Hey, before y'all sign off, I need y'all to go around, Mike, Aaron, and then Funnymaine. Social media stuff, y'all got to give y'all stuff out, and anything that y'all got going on, whether it be podcast or anything else.
Mike Mello Instagram, Mike Mello Miller on Instagram, Facebook, Michael Miller. Don't have nothing going on but chilling in the crib.
Gotcha.
Collecting checks.
All right. Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron Weber at Real Aaron Weber on everything. I just started a podcast with my buddy Nate Bargatze here in Nashville.
Cool.
So maybe check that out if you like Nate. It's been a lot of fun doing that. But that's about all.
What's the name of your podcast?
Nate Land. It's cool.
Okay. All right, that's what's up. All right. And Funnymaine, because I see your ad right there, so you good.
That's it. Yeah, that's it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything got that same name. And man, Aaron, we got to link up, bro. I'm at Zany's at least twice a year, so I don't know what their situation is now. Well, I know DL almost fell off the stage.
Yeah, yeah. I saw Funnymaine at Ricky Smiley's karaoke night. You remember that, Funnymaine?
You came to that?
Yeah, me and Lucy came down.
That was you. Y'all sitting up at the top.
Yeah. Ricky Smiley did karaoke night at the Stardome. We came.
Man, that was legendary Monday nights right there, man.
Yeah. So Funnymaine, this is what you got to do. You go to Zany's. You got to get Aaron on your set.
Oh, it's done.
When you go to Good Nights, you got to get Mike Mello on there.
Is that Mike? What city you in?
Raleigh. I'm in Raleigh.
Oh man.
Yeah, come to Good Nights.
I got some folks up there in Raleigh, Durham, man. They've been begging for me to come up there. So yeah.
Gotta come up here, man. All you gotta do is holler, man. I take care of you.
We're gonna make it happen. We like
that's your two right there. That's your two right there for them two cities. I'm telling you, and you won't go wrong.
Yeah, don't y'all come in there all dressed up and bring your little headliner set.
They only bring jokes, man. They only bring the jokes, man.
They're like, oh, it's sold out tonight. Oh, but no, we're gonna make it happen, man. Y'all follow me. I'm gonna definitely follow y'all back. And I don't know what the hell is going on my internet. I reset my phone. That's why I was looking down. Something screwy going on here, but I'm gonna make sure I got y'all followed on there.
All right, man.
Good deal. Yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
No problem, man.
Appreciate you, Jay. Hey, us Ball brothers got to stick together.
Later, man.
All right, y'all.
All right, peace.